you all noticed, but I'm also 7'2", 260. I was standing down there.
Oh, man.
If you have a question for any of the student athletes from Purdue, please raise your hand. We'll send a microphone over in your general direction. We'll wait for the first question when someone's ready to ask a question. Until then, we'll hang out. Until then, we'll hang out. Are you guys able to record this transcript okay?
Okay, but this is so disrespectful.
What they did tell you all was Calipari was just here like 10 minutes ago. I'm sure. So we went from like wire to wire.
Yeah, you guys are following up a tough act with Coach Cal. Yeah.
Our first question for the Purdue student athletes is ready to commence. We have one over on the right side.
Brad Brown, WRTV Indianapolis, guys. Are you guys relaxed coming into this? It looks like you're kind of enjoying the experience right now, but any of the three of you talk about kind of the team's mentality coming into this event here.
Let's start with John, then we'll go to AJ, and then Rapheal.
All right. Mentality-wise, everybody, we just explained that we want to enjoy this ride. We want to come into this understanding, our opponents, and just staying focused, throughout, but also, having fun with it.
AJ.
Just to follow up on what he said, pretty much just here, being ready, but also just having fun. This is my first time in the NCAA tournament, so just enjoying the trip, but making sure we're always ready when game time starts.
Same question to Rapheal.
I mean, we feel loose right now. Just got to focus on Cincinnati tomorrow and go out there and play hard and have fun before the game and have fun after the game.
We're looking for additional questions for the student athletes from Purdue. There's one all the way in the back and all the way to the left.
Dan Hort from Cincinnati. Have you guys been asked more about tomorrow's game or the possibility of playing Kentucky?
Let's go with John first, then AJ, then Rapheal.
It's been a balance, but like we said, we want to focus on the opponent ahead, and that's Cincinnati. That's how our mindset has been. That's where our scouting report is coming from. So, that's what we're pushing in our locker room. That's kind of the focus that we've been staying forward to. But yes, it's been a balance of both.
Yeah, it's been pretty much just a lot of talk about Kentucky, trying to possibly end up playing them. But personally, we're just trying to stay focused on Cincinnati. That's the first team. Then we get that win, then we move on to Kentucky. So,
Rapheal.
You just got to stay focused on the task at hand and play a good Cincinnati team tomorrow and prepare for them. And one game at a time. You can't jump over the fight.
We have another question on the left side toward the center.
Therese Walker, the Associated Press. How much does it help when you're preparing for a team like Cincinnati that's so much of a defensive team, does a lot of things kind of similar to you, even if they do it maybe with different defenses? Does that make it easier at this point? And do you look forward to a kind of a defensive battle? I'm
sorry, did you want that question directed to all the student athletes? Okay, we'll start down the end again. Go ahead, John.
We're coming from the Big Ten, a very hard-nosed, physical, defensive-minded conference. So going into watching Cincinnati and viewing their scouting report and everything that they're going to be doing, it's kind of like similar to what we've been doing throughout the whole season. So yes, of course, they have different players, but as far as our mindset and preparing for it, we've played against a Cincinnati-type team in our conference, and so I think the transition will be fine. We'll be fine with it.
They're just a great team, great rebounding, and very physical. So it's just something we know we got to go out there and grind the game out. It's just something we're looking forward to.
Rapheal.
I mean, it's a good team to go against. When you play a team that's top 10 in the country and points allowed, it just tells you right there that the game is going to be a grind. It's going to be a war type of atmosphere. And coming from the Big Ten, as John said, I mean, we're used to things like that. I mean, we like games, we like low-scoring games and things like that. So I think it just works for both teams.
Next question's in the center on the right side, but with the left-hand microphone.
John, Mark Wicker from the LA Daily News. Can you kind of walk us through the whole process of last year? UCLA your involvement with trying to applying to UCLA and then ending up at Purdue. What do you remember about that, and are you glad it worked out the way it did?
I'm a strong believer in everything happens for a reason. So, I was supposed to go to UCLA, it didn't work out, and luckily I landed in West Lafayette. I don't regret that at all. Obviously, you know, I've created a family with these guys, the guys in the locker room, my coaching staff, even the fans at Purdue. So it's been a great experience. After not getting into UCLA, obviously, there was some doubt in what I was going to be, what was going to happen. And like I said, I was blessed with the opportunity to be a Boilermaker, and I'm satisfied with that for sure.
If you have a question for any of the Boilermaker student athletes, please raise your hand. We'll send the microphone steward in your direction. Another question all the way in the back, all the way on the left.
This is for Jon and AJ. I know both of you guys visited Cincinnati and were considering that as a possibility before choosing Purdue. Can you talk about that decision and how interested you were in possibly going to Cincinnati?
Jon first, then AJ.
I built somewhat of a decent relationship with the coaches at Cincinnati through my recruiting process after determining that I was going to leave Colorado State. I obviously went in a different direction. I didn't end up at Purdue. Besides Cincinnati, some circumstances came up to where, you know, I had to make a couple decisions, but I made a decision, and I don't really understand how to answer the question any differently than that.
AJ?
Personally, I don't really know how to answer that question, but, you know, they're a great program. You know, I had fun on my visit and everything. They were one of my top schools I was thinking about going to, but at the end, it all came down to fans, family, and then it was close to home, so I chose Purdue.
We still have a few minutes for questions for the student athletes from Purdue. If there are any questions, just raise your hand. We'll send the microphone attendant to you. Any further questions for Jon, AJ, or Rapheal? All right, we'd like to thank Jon, AJ, and Rapheal for joining us here in the main interview room. They're going to head back to